Rosi Orozco, she is a former Mexican congresswoman, the president of the Commission United Against Human Trafficking, and a very, very brave woman. You, living in Mexico, where you have the drug cartels and everything else, you're not in a business where people live too long.
Well, when you have a task to do in this life, when you have a mission, you have to do it, because I have learned from all the survivors, girls like this, Amanda, like Michael, like Gina, that were having a life that is not life. It was a hell in life. They were raped 30, 40 times a day in Mexico and here in the United States. So these survivors are the fuel that allows me to work every day without rest.
When we talk about, most Americans don't have a problem with Mexicans coming in and working. I mean, if you do, you've got a real issue, that you have to deal with. We want to make sure that the door is big enough to let everybody in the right way, because we believe, most of us believe, that coming across the border, we don't know who's coming across, and a lot of bad things happen when you're coming across the border in the middle of the night. Tell me exactly how the sex trade works across our border.
Well, some weeks ago, I have been working inside jails with a man who has been pimps. One of them was working here in the United States, and he was saying how easy it was to cross the border with the girls, minors, that were crossing through Sonora. And he was
Arizona?
He was telling me there is a tunnel, and in the other side there is vans who will take them everywhere they want. And they were working mainly in New York and some of the areas where Mexicans or Central Americans live in apartments. They work very hard in the fields, but they are living by themselves. So this man takes little cards that says chicas, chicas, girls, girls, and they can offer girls that are 16, 17 years old. And one of them was telling me, one of these girls, the pimps are so bad that he brought the girl with one eye, because he beat her until she lost her eye. So these girls are suffering so much. I have the daughter of one of my best friends, that is Esmeralda and Melchor, my friends. She's a little girl, 9 years old. I know you have the picture. And her name is Lisette Soto. She was outside of her home and was taken by a van. And this was in Baja California South. And this precious girl, I know her since she's 5 years old. She was dancing in a church. She is a beautiful, beautiful creature, a beautiful human being, and was sold. The police says that one of the investigation is that she was sold to a couple of men in a yacht from America. So that's my hope, that one day this girl also, if we all see the signs, if
Has she not been found?
No, she hasn't been found. She was 9 years old. It was October 14, 2010. I will never remember that day. I will always remember that day, because for me it was really sad. I know her very well. And there is so many girls like her.
I have talked to several parents, and I have yet to be able to afford to keep them safe, afford to report on the things that are going down on the border. We have so many Americans, and if it's bad on our side, I can't even imagine what it's like on your side.
Yes.
That just disappear. The girls just disappear. This is what happens to them?
Yes, well, 3 months ago I met one American girl who was being sold in the streets of Mexico as a prostitute. And she was American. She found a man who she fell in love. She went to Mexico City, and he was a pimp. So in the general attorney office, the prosecutor introduced me to her. She was really crying. She was very excited that she was coming back. And I'm also very thankful because the ambassador in Mexico, Anthony Wayne, he's a very committed man against human trafficking. We just had one of the girls, one of the survivors, who was taken to Atlanta. She was forced to prostitution with 50 men a day in Atlanta.
Oh my gosh.
And now she received the humanitarian visa. She, the family, the daughters. She is from one of the most dangerous PIM. He was being looked by the FBI, and he's now in jail. We have met 4 of the victims of that horrible man who was operating here in Atlanta, in the United States. So I'm very thankful that we have people very sensitive to this horrible crime in our embassy, your embassy in Mexico.
Okay. Back in just a second, and I want to talk to you a little bit about why nobody pays attention and what people can do. Mm-hmm. You can see just one of the most amazing hours you'll ever see on television, full of brave, brave people. Tonight at 8 o'clock, it's called For the Record, only on The Blaze. Back in a minute.